Oh, blessings. So today I'm wanting to share with you my book, Words to a Friend. This this is the first process poetry book that I compiled, and it arose during a time where I was I was in a gnarly breakup with a child involved. I was sick a month and a half in bed, just sick, you know, disgustingly sick, shitting, 105 fever to like really low temperatures and up and down. You know, I was really in a bad place. And then I was also ending this relationship with a continental magician who is really one of the most powerful people I've met, but a scary person to be around for sure. And I needed to sever that from my life. And then on top of that, I was taking a shitload of mushrooms, and so a bunch of stuff at this time kind of uh, uh, condensed into a breakdown, man. Like I was at death's door right here, and I was miserable. It was probably one of the darkest places I've been in life, and I so then I journal. I've always journaled, and I just started to notice this grouping of topics that was going along, and so like I'm leading up to is that I wasn't planning to do these kind of writings, you know, but it ends up that I started to compile poems and insights, and this one in particular, there was two major themes going on. One, it's this like stop being a bitch, you know. Oh, that's I guess that's uh, politically incorrect to say, but whatever. I was just being, you know, I've been walking a path for a long time, but I was just kind of just wimping out, or not wimping out. What's the word that I'm looking for? Let's just say that I felt on that I didn't feel authentic at that time, and sometimes I felt even like a fraud, you know, because I would be talking about this information, talking about these practices, and yeah, just do the practice, but not really to have it like totally infused within who I was. And so one of the themes that flows through this book is um, here. Like I'll just read you one of my insights. Even when we fail time after time, even when we drop our sacred things, spill coffee on our holy books, waste hours, days, weeks, years doing nothing, there's still no excuse. We gotta practice. There's no other way to grow. So this theme is basically confronting all those excuses and all those reasons and and all the energies that were preventing me from really truly embodying what I knew to be true, you know, and what I talked about. So it was really the beginning process of me like, all right, you know it. Now it's time to actually live it, right? And so then the second theme that runs through this book is identity, in particular, three aspects of self, which I just say the conditioned self, which is that aspect of us that is just, we're just conditioned as a child, as we grow up, as society, all the influences, things just condition us and shape us into, we wear these clothes and we do listen to these things and watch whatever, you know, we're a part of this collective social experiment, you know, this experience, shall we say. And so we have all these factors that are condition us into who we are, and then we reach a certain level of maturity, and we start to recognize that we have some control over our identity, and we can now consciously choose who that is to be, and that's the aspect of us where we construct ourselves, right? It's our constructed self. We start to gain control of our environment and ourself internally and externally, and start to take control. And so and for most people in society, this is kind of, you know, it's not a huge conscious effort necessarily, but there is like, you know, we know what we like, and that's what we move towards, and we know what we don't like, so we kind of move away from that. And you know, so there is that level of control. But for me, people that walk the path, people that are on a path, that we actually take a conscious, asserted effort, and we look at all aspects of ourselves, and we determine if that's a thing that actually benefits us towards our highest aims and our desires, or if it detracts from it, or interferes with that manifestation of what we want. And so then we start to like chisel away, and we create ourselves truly like gods. So bam, that's pretty powerful, right? And then the last aspect of self that I talk about is what what I call the true self. But there's many different names throughout history and throughout cultures and traditions. And for me, I have multiple influences in my life. So coming from the Eastern tradition, I recognize the sense of no self, the sense of the spaciousness of being, where we just really drop away all identity and just touch in with the sense of being itself. There really is no self in that. And to what would be the word, to argue that point times in our life, even just watching a movie or reading a book, but in meditations and rituals and things like that, where actually the self just drops away. There's no sense of concept of self, right? There's no experience of self. And so that lets us know that we can expand in our consciousness outside of this limited concept and matrix that we have right here. I hope this film is not getting twitchy. It looks like it is, but anyhow, then from the continental tradition and the sense of mysticism, there's that sense of unity with it all, right? So that our sense of self really is just one little aspect of who we really are, which is just this collective sense of theurgic union, and so we have the embodiment of the gods, the God form energies within ourselves, totemism, working with totems, anything like that, where there's this fusion of identity that extends our sense of self, that we become more and more and more and greater, greater, greater. And then then the third major influence I have is definitely just a distinct sense of self, that is an immortal kind of concept of being, right? So there's a real me, right? So all these factors come into play when I talk about the self. So yeah, Words to a Friend. I'll have the link below, and check it out. It's all a bunch of poems, just different things. Let's see if I can find I work with visual, a lot of it. That's why I kind of do it, is because I like the visual aspect, and then also the energetics of someone seeing their actual handwriting versus so I don't know if you can see that, but so yeah, those are different examples of stuff just playing around, and I'm not an artist or anything, but there's a power in being able to really see the energy. Anyhow, sounds like my girls are having a moment. So blessings, and till next time.